All right, so hopefully you are kind of seeing how this is going to go. Here is our warm up for day 2. Problem number 1 is to identify the slope and y-intercept of the equation. So we have our slope. Remember, our equations are always written in the form of y equals mx plus b. And this equation is y equals 1/2 x plus 9. That means that my slope is going to be the number that is right next to x, and my y-intercept is going to be the extra piece that's being added on. So to answer this question, you would say your slope is 1/2, and your y-intercept is positive 9. Then the question also asks you, is the line proportional or non-proportional? Now remember that proportional means it's going through the origin, and non-proportional means it's not. And also for proportional, you should not have any extra piece being added on. So because of this extra 9, because our y-intercept is 9 and our y-intercept is not 0, we would say this is non-proportional. Okay. Problem number 2. What is the lateral surface area of a cylinder with a radius of 5 and a height of 2.7? So first of all, remember that our lateral surface area of a cylinder, the formula is S is equal to 2 pi r h. I'm going to split that equal sign, and then I'm going to start plugging in my numbers. I have 2, I have pi, my radius is 5. I'm going to put parentheses to show I'm multiplying, and my height is 2.7. Now this next piece, you could use the calculator on your phone. You could download a calculator app. I actually have a couple suggestions. If you need a suggestion for a calculator, I have some that look just like the ones we use in class. So in my calculator, I'm going to type down I'm going to type in 2 pi 5 2.7, and I'm getting an answer of undo that, 84 point, I'm just going to round to the hundredths place, 0.82. Okay, now for the last equation, we are going to be solving. Now, I know that all of these fractions and fraction bars kind of throw you off, but you have to remember and be able to read this as our steps staying really the same as what they've been. It's just using a fraction. So this negative 15x over 4 is the fraction negative 15 over 4 multiplied by the x. And then plus 1/2 is equal to, now this x over 4 is the same as saying 1/4 x minus 4.5. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just like I've been doing, I'm going to add, let's start by moving this 15 over 4. It's negative, and the opposite of something negative is something positive. So I'm going to add 15 over 4x to both sides. Whoops, split that equal sign. Add 15 over 4x to both sides. Now, this is going to cross out just like it had what's been happening, because if you have a negative and a positive, those opposites are going to cancel. I'm going to stay with this 1/2 on this left-hand side, and 1/4 and 15 over 4. Again, if fractions is still something you struggle with, put that into your calculator. When you do that, you'll actually see it's 16 over 4, which turns out to be 4x. So the same math that we've been doing, everything that we've been writing is staying the same. We're just doing it with a fraction, and we are not going to fear the fraction. All right, so sorry about that. Now that I've moved my variables to be together, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move my constants to be together, and I'm going to add this 4.5 to both sides. 4.5 plus an extra half makes 5 is equal to 4x. And then the last thing we're going to do is divide by 4. And I'm going to put my answer over here. When I do 5 divided by 4, you can leave it as x is 5 over 4. Another thing that you could do once you have x is 5 over 4 is you could also convert that to a decimal and have it as x is equal to 1.25. Sorry, my video kind of messed up there. Let me just erase real quick and rewrite that answer. So we have x is 5 over 4 or x is 1.25.